Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is Troy with Cichlid Bros. Today I am in New York on Long Island at Predatory Fins as we're gonna do a full tour of this incredible facility, and I'm gonna be picking out a stingray. So you don't wanna miss that. Let's go. Everything that I was looking for.
They swarm and go nuts.
Watch your fingers.
So as you walk into the facility, you can see that Predatory Fins is absolutely massive. They have huge tanks everywhere, and they are still in the process of moving from their previous locations, so the front end of the store will be even better once they set up more of these tanks, including this massive one, which they said was anywhere from 15 to 20,000 gallons, and this is going to hold some of their huge monster fish in the future. But they also have massive tanks all over the place, including these beautiful stingrays, these adult-sized stingrays that were just immaculate, some of my favorite stingrays I've ever seen. And like I said, we're going to be picking out my own stingray today. We're going to be picking the brain of Kevin from Predatory Fins, who knows just about as much about stingrays as anyone I've ever encountered. And next to this was this huge 3,000 gallon aquarium with some monster fish, and some of them are still growing. I watched these arapaima for a long time, and they still have quite a bit of growth to go. And they might be some of the fish that go into that bigger size aquarium down the line. But everywhere you looked in this tank was just a beautiful monster fish, from gar to catfish to awesome looking arowana, big peacock bass. And later in the video we're gonna feed this aquarium, which is one of the most fun things I've done in a long time. Just watching these huge fish just strike at food was really amazing, and I'll show that towards the end of the video when we also pick out the stingray. They also had a couple really nice looking stingray in this tank, and kind of the theme of the video is you're going to see stingrays all over the place, and they are some of the most high quality rays I've ever seen in person. So they definitely had everything you could ask for when it comes to predatory and monster fish, and all shapes and sizes of those fish. And all of this was just kind of the front display and future retail area of Predatory Fins. All of the fish and the stocking and the tubs are coming up, and we're going to go through all the highlights, some of the coolest things I've ever seen throughout the tour of this video before showing the ultimate stingray. And so as you walk into the back half of the facility, you're greeted by thousands of red-tailed catfish hybrid babies, and this is just a sight to behold because there are so many of them. They're so active, they're swimming like crazy. It was even cooler to see them later in the video when we feed them, and I have just never seen so many babies in one spot, all swimming together, just going absolutely crazy and coming up and greeting you. But just remember, if you're going to get one of these, they get absolutely huge. We're going to see some bigger versions of red-tailed catfish and other catfish later in the video, so just keep that in mind. But nonetheless, it was awesome to see this many babies in one spot. And as we continue into the store, you're going to see a lot of different ponds and tubs that were set up that were just huge volumes of water, starting with this one right here, which had some really cool barramundi, which kind of come up and greet you at the top of the water. And then they had some really cool looking sturgeon. I believe those are diamondback sturgeon swimming around the bottom. So a really cool tank there. And then next to that was this huge tub of monster fish, believe it or not. And I believe there's a giant gourami, pacu, big catfish, a fly river turtle, big plecos. You know, when you think of monster fish, they're basically all in this tub right here. I almost put my hand out there just for a size comparison and realized probably isn't a smart idea with these monster fish that might be a bit hungry. And then next to that tub, I was shocked to see these saltwater tubs, which had some amazing sharks, including some black tip reef sharks, which were super active swimming around. And then next to that were some zebra sharks, and we're going to show them a little bit more later in the video. But even though this is a monster fish facility, there are some nano fish or schooling fish options as well. You can see them all on the website. I would definitely recommend checking those out. But we're also going to go through some of the stocking of this facility and show some of the highlights, some of my favorites, and of course, seeing some cichlids and some other monster fish. This place is absolutely insane. The quality of the fish and the size of the fish, I just have never seen anything like it. You got blood parrots of all shapes and sizes. You got monster fish. I even saw some geophagus tapajos, some albinos that I loved. Clown knives, biashers, catfish, arowana, everything you could ask for. It's here. This is one of the coolest places I've ever been. Alright guys, so this is what I really came for, even though the whole facility is incredible. But these are the different stingray options. And I know I'm going to talk to Rod and Kevin about which one I'm going to potentially get. The plan here is to pick out one of these and have them ship it back home. And so I'm ready to receive it. And it's going to be one of the highest quality stingrays I could probably find. And just looking at some of these, I am so excited. These black diamond stingrays right here are the exact size and quality that I was looking for. Since my tank gets 500 gallons, that's a really big tank to a lot of people, but stingrays get so big, I want to get a male. Males stay a little bit smaller than females, so I can keep it in that tank long term, whereas the female might get too big, like the ones we saw earlier in the video. And so I'm going to go with a male, and I do think I want to go with a black diamond. But again, I'm going to check with Rod and Kevin and kind of pick their brain and make sure I'm thinking about this the right way. So you got all the way from really small pups to some of your juveniles, and obviously they have just monster fish all over this place. So really cool to see all this. Okay, so this is the back of the stingray tanks we just saw. But some of the fish over here, we have some amazing looking denizen barbs and other barbs. I'll put the name of the actual barb on the screen that's with the denizen barbs, but a lot of them really big ones. Then you have an awesome arowana up here, along with a lot of different puffer fish, and these guys look awesome. And over here we have some different peacock bass, and I think if you're ever buying peacock bass, this is the place to do it because they have all the sizes that you need, the color variations, the species, and if you're ever looking for a clown knife, they have, like we've shown, so many different types and sizes of clown knives. Then here you have a lot of different sturgeon, and these guys are so cool how they swim constantly. They're so active. But then you also have kind of the traditional fish. These are really good looking angelfish in different color variations, and all these tanks just look super clean too, which again to them is just a testament. With all these big fish keeping the tanks looking so good, it's impressive. Further down here, another fish they have a ton of and a ton of types is the arowana. A ton of beautiful looking arowana here. And also, they sell all their fish online, or I think the majority of them. So if you see anything in the video today, you can actually go on their site and buy it, which is really cool. A lot of the fish store tours we do show a lot of really cool fish, but here you could actually buy it if you want it. So I think that's pretty cool. They have, like I said, a lot of different types of catfish. And then they have some small silver dollars, some albino heckelei. They have some small cichlids here, and we'll show some bigger cichlids that they have in a little bit because they do have some beautiful fish over in the other section as well. And then here's one that I've been considered getting for a long time, which is a flagtail. And I think this would go really well in my South American tank with the stingray I'm getting, but I'm probably going to hold on the flagtail for now because I do want to get that stingray relatively soon. You have some really cool archer fish. These guys actually spit water out of the tank when they're trying to get food or insects that are above the water. So really cool, interesting fish here. Next up is a couple racks of fish that have some more cichlids, so I wanted to focus a little bit on this. We have some angelfish here that look really nice, some platinum angels I believe, and then they have a lot of different flower horns. So flower horns are kind of a polarizing fish because you either love them or hate them with that big nuchal hump that they get, but I absolutely love flower horns. I think they're awesome, personable fish. You can keep them solo in the tank. That's what I would recommend because they're relatively, I mean, they are very aggressive fish, but they get awesome color and they get to know you and come up right to the front of the tank. And they have a lot of variations here at Predatory Fins. You can see that they're sectioned off into biters. So if you're looking for a flower horn, I think this is a really top quality spot to get it. You got more angelfish here, you got some severums, you got some other barbs, more angelfish, a couple crayfish, and you can just see throughout all these tanks how active all the fish are and healthy. I think you even got a couple jaguars in the back of this tank. Just incredible. And in this next section here, you have some huge plecos, some different catfish, a lot of different schooling fish. These guys are just following me around. You got more of the flower horns sectioned off. You have some albino tinfoil barbs. One of my favorite tanks in the whole facility here are some big Oscars. These guys obviously get huge. You can't have a monster fish facility without some beautiful Oscars, and they got plenty of those. And then you have some big Viejas and Spillum. You may know that Alec just got 6 of these guys. They are not quite this big or colored up yet, but they are beautiful, awesome cichlids. And you have a big flower horn right here. These guys do get really, really big, especially the males. You have a massive clown knife right there and right there. You just see clown knives all over this place. It's incredible. But if you continue on, there's just pool after pool, tank after tank. There is a huge fly river turtle in here with, it looks like a albino red-tailed catfish, massive fish. And then if you continue on, they do have a couple pools of saltwater sharks. They have a couple black-tip reef sharks, and then they just got in some zebra sharks, which just look incredible. Really beautiful stripe pattern to them. So as you can see, they just do it at a high level here. It's a really impressive setup, and couldn't say enough nice things about this. So obviously I'm here at Predatory Fins with Kevin, who is absolutely one of the best in the hobby. You know everything there is to know about stingrays, I'm pretty sure.
I appreciate it. You know, a lot of it comes from experience, trial and error. Nothing just, you know, comes, right? I'm sure even with cichlids, there's a lot of ups and downs, mistakes that you can make, but that's where you get your knowledge from, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we are here to kind of pick your brain a little bit, see what makes the best sense for us to pick out a stingray for the big tank at home.
Wow, you want a stingray, you're ready. Okay, let's do it.
So I know enough, but still a novice, I would say, when it comes to stingrays. Okay. How would you go about picking out a stingray, kind of like what you were mentioning earlier with all the different?
I think when it comes down to selecting a stingray, it's all about where you're getting it from. You want to start with a quality animal. Okay, so like any other fish that you would buy at a pet store, you want to see that they're active, that they're moving around. You never want to pick the fish that just sitting up in the corner with their clamped fins, right? So with rays, they don't have fins to clamp, but if they're just sitting there not moving, just breathing, and they don't interact with you, then that's already not a good sign. So you see how they're doing this? Like they see me and they're coming up to the front, they're begging, waiting for the food. That's a great sign. Now if the owner or the seller is going to be cooperative, and you can always request, hey, I would like to see the ray eat, and they'll feed a little food and you see that they actually eat the food, then that's a good sign. One of the mistakes people think is, oh, the ray jumped over the food, but they actually didn't eat it. They might have just jumped over it, chewed on it, and they'll swim away. So you want to make sure when they swim away, the food is gone. Now you know they ate it.
Absolutely.
And that's basically it, you know?
Yeah, and these guys, like you said, are super active in all of the tanks, and you guys have so many rays here. So the differences between male and female are, males stay smaller, right?
In general, yes. Males are smaller. Females need to get bigger because they're carrying the babies and they're giving birth. But yes, that's the general pattern of this.
Okay, and since my tank is big, but not like the most massive tank in the world, I think we're looking for a male because they do stay maybe a little smaller.
Not a problem. How big did you say?
500 gallons.
Oh, that's plenty of space.
Yeah.
Yep. What's the footprint?
It is 44 inches front to back and over 6 feet wide. I kind of built it with a big stingray in the bottom in mind.
Okay. No, that sounds great. Nowadays also, with captive bred rays, like a lot of other captive bred fish, their max size tends to become smaller, right? It's just like cichlids, right? A lot of cichlids now, they start laying eggs when they're like only 3 inches, you know, so rays, their max size is coming down. So that helps a lot of hobbyists at home with the smaller tanks.
For sure. Okay, so back to selecting the stingray then. So if we're maybe looking for a male, you said the differences in price could be to a lot of variables, but could you mention some of those? Okay,
so males are cheaper than females, right? Only because with stingrays, it was more like a breeder-driven type of hobby. So everyone wanted females, more females than just one male, so that they can have a breeding group and spend less money. So that kind of like dictated the pricing between males and females. In terms of, let's say, black diamonds or a lot of rays, it goes by grading as well. A lot of it is based on their pattern, the number of spots, bigger spots, the brightness of their pattern, and that usually drives the price, because any breeder always wants to buy the best they can to breed, to create better babies, right? So it kind of leaves the ugly duckling off to the side, but they're just as beautiful. Other hobbyists want rays, or at least black diamonds, to be as black as possible because they're buying black diamonds. But sometimes when they're younger, they're more on the gray side. The black will come as they grow older and mature. So that's basically how we grade it. The pricing can range anywhere from $300–400 all the way up to $3,000–4,000.
Yeah.
It's like reptiles, you know?
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
And supply and demand, and if you see one that's that high quality, people are going to pay that.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I'm leaning again towards the black diamond.
Yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah.
Black and white. Everyone loves it.
For a beginner, or even someone just keeping a stingray for the first time, any primary tips you would give?
Okay. It's like keeping any other fish. Water quality. Okay. If you understand your basics, your water chemistry, you know, the whole ammonia and nitrification cycle, you should be good. Okay, that's basic. But the thing is, people forget, the stingrays kind of sit on the bottom, right? So it doesn't feel like it's filling up your tank. So you forget that there's a big bioload there. These stingrays, they eat a lot, they poop a lot, they produce a lot of waste, but because they're just there, look, this whole tank feels empty. And then they think that it's not much fish in there, but it's actually way more fish than other types of fish. And the food that they eat, right? They don't eat the pellets. You're feeding meatier foods, shrimp, night crawlers, smelt, foods that are going to dirty your water more as well. So you just have to up your tank maintenance, your water changes, and your filter cleanings. But the principle is all the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I've heard that they also create more ammonia than your typical fish. Is that just because they eat and poop more, or is there more to their breathing too? Or
well, it's a bigger fish.
Yeah.
Right. If you were to equate this, like this one ray, I would say would equal the waste that like 6 or 7 discus that size.
Yep.
When they poop, it comes out in like a big spiral, almost, you know, like pasta. It's the long trail. It can really foul up your water. Yeah.
That'll look good right next to my Oscar's waste.
Oh, they might eat it up. If you have plecos, they might eat it up. But the point is, it's still there.
Absolutely.
You know, and the only way to get it out is water changes and you know, cleaning the filters.
All right, so if I'm looking to get a black diamond male stingray, I like when they're black, but I'm not too picky about spotting.
Okay.
Is there anywhere in this rack you would point me to?
Okay, let's start with what size do you want to start off with?
I'm thinking, you know, what is that, 4 or 5 inches?
I would go with, like, I think that guy stands out. He's pretty dark compared to the 4 that are in here. This one down here catches my eye. He's pretty dark, and his spotting is a little bit more bright white versus, like, you see how that one right there is more like yellowish. So right here, I would go with these two. You're gonna want to put it into your big tank right away. Sometimes when people start off with small rays, I kind of recommend them to go in a smaller tank, and that way you can control feeding better with no competition against other fish until the ray gets to know you and know your feeding habits, right? Then it'll be easier to feed. But with a larger ray, it'll be a little bit easier. But with these rays, you won't have that problem because they're already trained to come up with you, come up to you. A lot of other times when you buy rays from other places and you're trying to get that ray to eat, people tend to overfeed. They throw more and more food because they're desperate to get the ray to eat, and it ends up polluting the tank.
These guys are just absolutely beautiful, and I'm a little overwhelmed with the selection. Just you have so many. I've never seen so many quality, healthy rays in one spot.
Well, I appreciate it.
You guys do good work.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna bring one ray up against the glass and show you how to tell male and female, all right? So we'll start with this guy. Let's see if he's cooperative. Get him pressed up here. Okay, so what we're looking here, males have what's called claspers, just like sharks, 2 little things right here. And we don't see it on this one, so I think it's a female. Sometimes they're really tiny at this size, but I don't see anything, so that would be a female. You kind of see it right there, those 2 little things right there. You see? clasper, that's the male we're looking for. So they have it on both sides. It's just like sharks.
Oh yeah, way more obvious than I thought.
Because he's a bigger ray, so it's easier to tell. With the little ones, I really have to get underneath them and tell. But once the males start to mature, the clasper extends out and rolls. So it'll be like what you see in sharks. It's exactly the same. They're both elasmobranchs, so they're from the shark family.
Okay, so Kevin, are we gonna feed these rays?
Yep. So primarily we feed these frozen gobies. This is a food source that I sourced because I had a lot of success feeding the rays and a lot of small carnivorous monster fish with this product. So we kind of made it our main diet. And what I do is I typically mix up and vary up their diet. I'll do these gobies, I'll do shrimp, I'll do night crawlers, and you see they respond really well to this food. When we lure them up here, once they smell, they're gonna go all over each other.
Looks tasty.
Yeah, and they're really fresh.
Yeah, like you said, they eat really quick.
Yeah, and you'll see once they're done, they'll swim away, they'll move on to the next piece, and move on and move on. You see, once he's done, he'll bounce and bounce and bounce. Once he kind of feels it on the edge of his disc, then he'll pounce right over to it. This guy, he's looking, you see, he's looking, climbing over everybody. Once he feels it, he's gonna jump over it. There you go, see? He senses it on the disc and then he goes for it.
Rays are so cool.
Yeah. These are albino pearls here now. He knows his food and he's biting on. It's kind of like puppies, like bouncing all over each other, rolling around, and he's doing the same thing. He's looking for the food. You see, he's a little bit slower than the others to find it. That's why he's kind of like smaller than the rest. But when he finds it, he's just trying.
Yeah. Wow.
So what they do in nature, in the wild, is they kind of pounce on their prey, they cup over them like a suction cup, and then they slowly like move them, push them over towards their mouths.
And it's gone.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Okay. So these are some of my grow outs. These are albino black diamonds and some hybrids. So these are my babies. Once they get big enough, I'll be moving them over to those big tubs.
So out of all these rays, are all of them on your website mostly?
Not all of them. It's just a lot of work. When it comes to selling rays, everyone wants to see individual pictures of each one. Yeah. So the time to take the photos and get it up on the website, it's a lot of work. So what I do is I slowly work through it. Like maybe I'll have like 3 tanks of rays up on the website, and then as the inventory goes down on the website, then I'll put more. And what happens is when Rod makes a video, or when you're making this video, people will be like, oh, I saw that ray in that tank at 3 minutes and 49 seconds. Can you, is that available? All right, no problem. Then, we'll figure something out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And do a lot of people come local to pick stuff up as well?
There are some, yes.
Yeah.
Because we're not fully open to the public, what we do is we still sell off the website, and you can come for local pickup. So they kind of already have to pre-select or pre-buy the ray that they want. But sometimes, out of special request, we'll let people come visit and then pick their own ray as well. This will be fun to feed. These are African tigerfish, and they love this food. Look at they're swarming. They know it's feeding time. And the way they like just strike at the food is just a lot of fun to feed.
Oh yeah.
I have to keep them well fed because sometimes they go after each other. And I don't know if you can catch it. There's a couple of guys in here with like missing eyeballs. Because when they get hungry, they go after each other for food. So we try to keep these guys really well fed.
These are African tigerfish?
Yes, African tigerfish.
All right.
All right, that's that.
Is that a Giardini in there?
Yes, there's one Giardini in there.
Silvers?
Silver arowanas. Some 4-bar Sumatra datinoids, and a couple of our hybrid catfish. These are what we call exantic or silver mono peacocks. They're always down to eat.
Crazy.
Okay. And then Well, let's end this with a really special feeding. Let's go to the
right.
front. So these are the hybrid catfish that I just showed you back there, but when they're in a group like this, they swarm and go nuts.
There's so many of them, it's crazy.
Yeah, watch. Once they sense, they're gonna go crazy. They're getting faster and faster and faster because they all sense it. I'm gonna feed this tank, and you get to feed the 3,000 out front. All right. These are our big catfish, and they were pretty heavily fed from everyone visiting. But look, they're gonna go nuts. I don't want to get wet today. Normally we feed them a lot more, but I just want to give them a taste today. And then we'll go to the front now.
All right, guys, we got the 3,000 gallon tank here we're gonna feed. Let's go.
Watch your fingers.
The Arapaima just go nuts.
Yes.
These guys are monsters. Arowana getting in. Tiger shovel nose.
Yeah. No, that's called a planiceps catfish.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a gold gar, arapaimas, some alligator gars. Yeah, the bass, they like to strike at it.
Yeah.
Just one big happy family.
It's incredible. I've said incredible a lot during this tour.
All right, so let's count how many times you say incredible in the video and put it in the comments below.
I bet it's over 15. All right, so we learned a little bit about the stingrays. We saw a lot of them. We fed some of them.
Yes.
Now we're gonna pick the actual ray out.
Okay. This one's a female. Unless you change your mind whether you want male or female. Let's see what we got here. That one was a female. I believe this one was a female when we were searching before.
Yep.
Yep, this is a female.
And remember, we are looking for a male, and like I said, a black diamond. These guys are perfect size because I'm going to be putting it in my 180 gallon aquarium first, so you can kind of be established, you can get to know me, grow a little bit, and then he goes into the 500 gallon plywood tank. All right, we are on to tank 2. The last tank was all females. These are some bigger boys, it
Yeah,
looks
these
like.
are bigger. I can see it already. This one's a male. But let's try this smaller one here.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
That's
Come
a
on.
beauty.
Yep.
Be a male.
It is. It's a male.
I think that might be the
I
one
think
right
this is
there.
the one. I like this one overall out of everything we looked at anyways. You see it right there. Let's have him open up a little bit. Come on, this guy has to get out of the way. Right there.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a male. I like how uniform the spotting is, how they all have perfect circles. To me, this is a very nice ray.
I am super excited for this guy. Beautiful. Can't believe that worked out so well. You got the exact size and everything that I was looking for.
Perfect. All right, it's done.
High five. Well, guys, it's been delivered. The Stingray is here, and in the next video, we're gonna be doing a full unboxing, checking out this Stingray in one of my aquariums. I cannot wait to show it. Stick around, it will be coming in just a few days. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.